Welcome, everyone, to Task Arena. Time for Hobbs Eagle basketball. Live on Cool 95.7 and on the internet, HobbsAmerica.com and YouTube on the Hobbs Sports page. Ty Friend, Ron Gunner with you. Max back at the station this afternoon. Kind of an early game for us, Ron, as the Eagles will host the Mayfield Trojans, coming off a kind of a quick turnaround. The Eagles playing last night with Oregon Mountain and losing that one 60-51. Very hard-fought ball game for both teams. One team had a lead of 8, the Eagles, 9 for Oregon Mountain, but still the final margin was 9 for the loss. But Eagles dropped to 4-3, and Oregon Mountain improved to 8-1. But now they have another Las Cruces team in town tonight with the Mayfield Trojans.
Yes, they do, and this is not the same Mayfield Trojans they've known from the past. Seeing as how they've lost about 8 in a row. They did lose the last one last night by a heartbreaker. Turned out actually the final score was 64-59. And, yeah, sometimes you got to just be patient with Max Preps. It doesn't always tell you exactly what's going on until the day after. But, yeah, this team should be interesting to watch. I mean, they've got nothing to lose so far. They've got everything to win and gain, and that's not a good combination for a team coming in and trying to fight and get back on the winning side.
Yeah, and of course, they've only got one win this season. They opened up the season, the Mayfield Trojans did, against Silver, and that was their only win. After that, there's been losses since that time. But let's first talk about the Hobbs-Eagles game last night, a game that was pretty close from the start to the finish. Hobbs up 14-9 in the first quarter, but we're outscored in the second quarter 17-10, and we're down by 2 at the half, 26-24. A very low-scoring game, only 50 points at the half total between the two teams. At the end of the third quarter, it was 48-39, so that's where Oregon Mountain got that margin of 9 points on the lead there. And then the Hobbs Eagles scored 12 in the fourth quarter, but 12 for Oregon Mountain. So basically, they ended up losing by the 9 margin. That was the lead in the end of the third. So that was the final again, 60-51. In terms of scoring for the Hobbs Eagles, they only get 1 in double digits. Doesn't happen very often, but Abraham Pena was 16 in that game. He had a couple of trays for the Eagles, 2 of the 3 that the Eagles got in that game, and also had a pretty good steady performance at the free throw line as well. He was there 6 times and converted on 4 of those. So Pena doing a pretty decent job offensively for the Eagles to keep them in that ball game. But then a little bit of drop-off in scoring after that. Kind of a slow start for Michael Mackey in the contest. Only finished with 8 points. Didn't have much of an opportunity in the second half to score. He had a lot of pressure on him at the perimeter and a couple of double teams quite a bit throughout the game. So he had to deal with that, and I think a little bit of frustration on his part, but I'm sure he's going to come firing back in this ball game. So he had 8. A pair of 6s from Brian Acosta, who had 4 for 4 free throw shooting in the game, also another bucket. And Jairus Turbiatis returning to uniform after being out for a couple of games at the Artesia tournament due to injury. He ended up with 6 and was looking good, too. Throwing up some jumpers in the free throw area in the lane, and good follow-through as well. And definitely is going to help the Eagles out as we go on down the road. Hobbs really got out manhandled on the board, so that was a big discrepancy. 33-14, Ron, a 19 rebound differential, and that definitely has to change. I guess it goes down to the basics. Put a butt on somebody, right?
Exactly. Just make your presence known. Try not to foul, but yet be strong enough to be able to get the ball away from the other team and be able to get it to the other side of the court. You know, sometimes it works out. Sometimes it just you just lose the handle.
Eagles free throw shooting not too shabby, 12 of 17 for 70% in the contest. And Hobbs playing a particularly pretty clean basketball in that game. They weren't throwing the ball away that much, only 9 times. And again, 15 for Oregon Mountain, so that definitely was in the positive for the Hobbs Eagles. But their post play was definitely keeping them ahead of the Eagles through the second half. Brandon Karras finished with 15 points and 12 rebounds for a double-double. He was pretty much the man underneath the hoop for Oregon Mountain and taking care of business. Amarin Bynum ended up with 16, so 3 in double figures there for Oregon Mountain. Their usual second leading scorer on the team sat out the whole second half. I was told he had an injury right before the break. Really not something you saw from up here, but he did leave the game and he stayed on the bench the second half. So they had their second leading scorer not playing that whole third and fourth quarter. So definitely they had some guys step up in that victory. But Oregon Mountain's not 8-1 for no reason. They definitely are a good ball club, and we'll see them later on this season, possibly in the playoffs. So the Eagles sitting at 4-3 currently. Definitely need to step up their game here against Mayfield. Mayfield's itching for a win. You mentioned that loss last night by just 5 points at home against a Cleveland Storm team that usually is a contender as well. So we'll have to wait and see how that's going to transpire. In terms of what Mayfield has to offer the Eagles in this game, their top scorer averaging over 20 points a contest, A.C. Munoz. He is a guard, 6'5" guard, we should mention. Definitely can get up and down the court, so we got to watch out for him. He's also 78% on the line and is one of their best three-point shooters on the team with double digits there as well. So AC Munoz, the guy the Eagles going to have to target and make sure he doesn't take over this ball game. Last year, the Eagles played the Mayfield Trojans and got the victory against them, 80-76. That was in Las Cruces, a tight game. AC Munoz ended up with 12 points in that contest. He was the second leading scorer in the game for Mayfield, so we're going to have to watch him very closely. Other scoring, Jesus Hidalgo, he has 14.8 points a contest and leads the team with 4 steals a game, so he does have some defense to go along with his offensive production. He's 92% from the line and one of their best three-point shooters as well. So those are their top 2 scorers. Isaac Purchase, who's a starter, he's leading the team with assists with 3.5 a game. And Brian Coyle, another starter, a junior, 190 pounds, kind of a bulky kid, he leads the team in rebounding at 6.5 boards a game. So they've got Jose Martinez, Davian Davis, AC Munoz, Isaac Purchase, and Brian Coyle, the starters for the green and white squad from Mayfield. Last year, under 500 overall, 13-15, 6-6 in the district down there in the Las Cruces side of the state. They did not make the playoffs, did the Mayfield Trojans, but I guarantee they're itching for a win on the road here in Hobbs, New Mexico. For your Hobbs Eagles, after last night's game, Michael Mackey leading the team at 21 points a ball game. Again, he leads with assists at 2.7 and steals 2.8, so 3 very good categories for him. And also likes to rebound as well. He's third on the team with, or second on the team with boards at 4.3. Other starters tonight, or this afternoon, I should say, for the Hobbs Eagles in this one. Abraham Pena, we mentioned his top production game last night. Pena's averaging 15.2 a game, and his other best stat is rebounding at 3.2, currently 4th on the team on the boards for the Eagles. Ethan Van Landingham seeing a start tonight. He came back in uniform yesterday after being out with a collarbone injury from football. He only had 2 points, but he came out quick. He was going hard, full speed. Talked to his stepdad last night. He's happy to see his progress, and with the rehab and everything else, Van Landingham should be a definite spark for the Eagles, especially on defense. That kid likes to get in your chest there and in your hips to take care of business defensively. Brian Acosta will be starting tonight for the Hobbs Eagles today as well. His numbers so far, he's yet to get over the 1-point mark in terms of average per game. But his other best stat for the Eagles, 1.2 rebounds a contest. So Acosta getting the start. And then last but not least, another football player for the Eagles, Omar Argot. Kind of a quiet game for him last night, only had 2 points. And he definitely would like to get more production there, but he had foul trouble early on, so he had to kind of wait on that. Did foul the game in the 4th quarter. Going back to Brian Acosta for just a second, forgot to mention last night he had 6 points, his free throw shooting pretty decent too, 4 for 4, perfect on the line for the Eagles, so definitely could use him on the court for Hobbs in terms of stroking those free throws. The Hobbs Eagles, in terms of the free throws after last night's game, definitely got some improvement with a 70% average in that game. Last night they came in at 62%, and they're just about 65 now with their production last night. We're about 3.5 minutes away from tip-off here at Task Arena. Your Hobbs Eagles at 4-3, taking on the 1-8 Mayfield Trojans. We're going to take a 90-second break and come back with more Hobbs Eagle Hoops on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube.
Welcome back to Hobbs basketball. You got the Hobbs Eagles facing the Mayfield Trojans, who have a 1-8 record, 4-3 for the Hobbs Eagles. As we are getting set to tip off here in about a minute, we're probably going to get the national anthem here in just a moment. But we want to talk more about what's going on with this game as far as what's at stake and what we predict to see to happen today.
Well, Eagles, if they lose at home, they definitely want to have the revenge factor. Of course, not the same team they're playing. They're going to get a chance, though, at Organ Mountain in that first round of the holiday tournament, just less than a week or so away. So that'll hopefully be a rebound there. But they don't want to lose to this Mayfield team. Hobbs has pretty much had their number over the years, too. I mean, it seems like I remember when they used to have Coach Morrow there about maybe 7, 8 years ago, and they were kind of more physical. They'd come here. We'd have tons of fouls called, a lot of physicality, black and blue underneath the hoop.
Right.
And that's the type of style he played. He wanted to see physical kids, especially football players on the team that really put their arms and biceps around the court. But after the last few years, they've had some coaching changes. They have a new coach here for Mayfield. I just got a chance to talk to him before the JV game, Keith Roberts. He was interim last year, and this is his first real year as the full head coach. So he's trying to prove something. Of course, he's going to be eager to try to get a win on the road, too, with that 1-8 record. So, and it's not easy. I mean, you mentioned last night they played at home. They had to get on a bus this morning and come through the mountains to get here for this afternoon game.
Exactly. And, you know, history doesn't really favor them against the Hobbs Eagles. It is a 23-6 record where Hobbs has the big lead against them. And that goes back to 1966. And their school was founded in 1965. So they've been pretty much rivals now. They haven't played every single year, obviously. But when they got into the tournament, when they got into the district, the same district, of course, they were playing 2 a year. That was just not that long ago. But right now, not in the same district as far as the class. But you know what? They can still bring the ball. They can still bring the game as well.
And, of course, this is a road trip for them, a little bit of a longer road trip, about 4 hours, 4.5 with the bus ride. So that could have a factor as well. And coming off a close game, as you mentioned, that 5-point loss last night to Cleveland, I'm sure, luckily for them, they probably thought having a home game was a better situation, but then you still got to jump on the bus anyway to come to this game. And that's been kind of the trend with Saturday games, from it seems like, especially on doubleheaders. They tend to make those early afternoon games to get the team traveling home earlier on the weekend, especially we have Christmas week coming up. A lot of high schools having final tests next week.
Right.
And, of course, they don't want kids tied up till Sunday at noon to get back from a game, so they hopefully can get these wrapped up a little bit quicker. So, of course, the Hobbs Holiday Tournament right around the horizon here, Ron, and always a great thing to come watch. Was it, I think, the 64th annual this year, if I remember right? No, 63rd. Oh,
yeah.
Sorry, I got that 1 year wrong on that.
Yeah, well, because we had one of them that was just canceled, and I think they've actually counted that.
Okay, so, yeah, I've heard it. Some of the media had 64 on one of the sites that I saw. But, again, Organ Mountain, the Hobbs Eagles will open it up, and kind of a late night start to 8:15. That's going to be the Wednesday start a couple days after Christmas, December 28th. They're on the same side of the bracket as Highland out of Albuquerque and Ferris High School as well. So they'll play the winner of Highland or Ferris if they win that first game over Organ Mountain. So that's kind of one of those toss-up games. I mean, we saw Organ Mountain come in here last night and win by 9, so kind of a question mark. The other teams at the tournament, Artesia opens up with Cleveland. So Cleveland's back. They've been here a few seasons now. And, again, that's a team that beat Mayfield last night. And then Farmington High School is taking on Spring Valley. So some of these teams from out of state, of course. So your lineup on the first day, Artesia takes Cleveland, Farmington, Spring Valley, Highland Ferris at 4:45, and then the Hobbs Eagles against Organ Mountain at 8:15. And then the Hobbs Lady Eagles will be back in the tournament as well. They'll have the 6:30 game on Wednesday the 28th. They'll take on Parkland from El Paso. They're on the same side of the bracket as, guess what, Highland and Organ Mountain. So it looks like the exact same setup, except one team is different than the boys' bracket. They'll play the winner of Highland, Organ Mountain. The other teams at the tournament for the girls, Piedra Vista against Ironwood, the 8 a.m. start. And Laredo United from Laredo, Texas, takes on El Paso El Dorado. So that looks like a pretty reasonable setup for the Hobbs Lady Eagles to have a chance to win that state tournament. That'd be nice, too, but the Hobbs Holiday Tournament.
Right.
And that's the 5th annual, by the way, for the girls. So that's a little bit different than the boys.
So the 5th time they've been in it to it, and they really do well. They've been, all 5 years, they've been top dog, so to speak, as far as being able to get in here. Dominate and win. They
got a maintenance guy working on the basket in front of the Mayfield bench. I know during the JV game, the net itself kept getting stuck on the rim. I'm not sure if that's what he's doing, but he looks like he's got tools out working on the back of the rim itself, the breakaway rim, and not sure what the issue is at this point. Maybe the Mayfield team is the one that's brought it up to his attention, although Hobbs is the one that was actually practicing on that gym, or on that that basket in front of the Mayfield bench.
Well, we just had the JV game, which, by the way, Hobbs did lose that one after they were leading in the half, I believe. But they lost that one 55-46 to the Mayfield JV team. And so another loss for JV, maybe again because of the fact of the back and forth either from last night or this afternoon with the JV game. Something got jarred loose or something happened, but either way, it looks like we're going to have a slight delay as far as the game going on.
We had a delay in the JV game, too, with the one kid from Mayfield got his glasses jammed into his eyebrow, the end of the glasses where the little hook on the side goes there, and yeah, he got a big gash there, blood all over the court, so that was a delay in the JV game before this one. But there looks like they're just going to wait for that to take a fix there, and I know it looks like now Mayfield coach is out there to check it to make sure he's satisfactory with it, because that's going to be his basket in the second half.
Right.
Again, that's the new head coach, Keith Roberts, was the interim last year. So we're going to take another quick break. We don't want to yap your ear off too much until the game starts. Hobbs and Mayfield going to go at it here in just a couple of minutes. We'll be live. We'll take another 2-minute break on HobbsAmerica.com, YouTube, and Cool 95.7. Hobbs Eagle fight song going on here at Task Arena. An afternoon game on a Saturday. Ty friend Ron Gunner, Max back at the station, and we're ready for some Hobbs Eagle hoops. As we had a little bit of a delay due to a basket fix for the basket in front of the Mayfield bench, and one that the Eagles are going to have to play on. So I guess Coach Rees was watching that one very closely because it does affect him.
He was. In fact, he was underneath. He was picking something up off the floor that fell, but not sure what it was. Couldn't see it. But either way, yeah, both coaches definitely were interested in what was going on, and definitely know that it is important to have all the equipment in the right specs to get this game going, without any delays.
I mentioned last year the Hobbs Eagles winning on the road in Las Cruces against Mayfield, 80-76, a nip-and-tuck game throughout. For Hobbs, their leading scorer was Aaron Mora, who had 26. Jesus Ramos added 24, and Tyler Box with 10. All three of them in double digits there. Van Landingham was the only guy that got in the books that's on the team this year. He had 2 points against the Mayfield Trojans. Mayfield had AC Munoz with 12. He's the only guy that's returned to the roster this year that had point production. And Josh Flores was on their roster last year, and I'm not thinking I'm seeing him on the roster this year. He had some points as well, so he will not be here this year. Another guy that scored quite a bit for him, Davian Smith, had 16 and 4 3-pointers in that ball game for that Mayfield Trojan squad. So he definitely was stroking it for him, but I don't see him on the roster this year either. And they had a couple, 1 or 2 years of eligibility left, so kind of wonder what happened to those two guys, although they haven't had a coach change since last year, or at least he was interim last year, now the full head coach. Hobbs out-rebounded Mayfield last year 29-28 in that ball game, so they got the advantage there. Free throw shooting was kind of a problem, though. 3 for 9 on the line in that one for 33%, but didn't have to have that to get the win. 4-point victory. So, again, Mayfield was kind of weak last year, but the Eagles, that was a long road trip. They played Organ Mountain the first game and turned around and played Mayfield game 2, so they had to bite the bullet there at the long road trip.
But at least they didn't have to travel like that day, like the Mayfield Trojans did today. They had to get on the bus really early. I mean, I know a bus ride isn't that difficult, but still, for some people it can be. And they had to get up early, get on the bus, come down here and play a game. They've lost 8 in a row, and so they're going to try to break that streak and start tonight or start this afternoon with Hobbs Eagles.
The list of games that the Mayfield Trojans have played so far, they beat Silver to start the season 61-39, but have been all 8 losses since then. Del Valle El Paso lost by 13 to Highland Albuquerque by 20, La Cueva by 15, El Dorado from Albuquerque by a total of 34 points. Hope Christian, they lost only by 3. Roswell Goddard by 14, and Carlsbad, got beat by 38 points. That was just a few days ago on December 13th. So pretty tough schedule, a lot of Albuquerque skulls, but 3 of those games were at home, so they're losing by double digits at home. Of course, the Trojan fans not too excited about that, but I think they've been tested so far this season.
Exactly, and that's what the thing is, you got a team that hasn't tasted victory yet. They're dying to. I'm sure they've been playing some tough games. And we've seen this with Levington, too, where they had some tough games. They lost them all, but when they got some really good opponents or better opponents than them, then they went ahead and came up and won. I'm afraid, if we don't take this Mayfield team seriously, that's exactly what we could do. We could see them come out strong, get the early lead, and hold on to it. But Hobbs has been tenacious. They've got the on-again, off-again press. They've been working that one as well, and when they do work the press, it really disrupts that offense for the other team.
Yeah, a couple of Mayfield's opponents included La Cueva, who's ranked 5th in the coaches poll right now for the state in the division, and also they played Cleveland last night, as we mentioned. They're number 7th ranked in the coaches poll. So a couple of teams that are ranked, and they had to play them, and not an easy road to hoe. El Dorado's another one they played who's currently ranked 9th in the coaches poll. So just kind of give you a comparison there. Eagles, as we mentioned last night as well, currently in the coaches poll, sit at number 10, and in the Max Preps poll at number 9. Mayfield going to wear their green and gold on the court here, and for the Hobbs Eagles, their home whites with the black and gold trim. As we get ready for the jump of this ball game for Mayfield, they'll be stepping up to the jump circle first, waiting for the Eagles to step in as well. It'll be Brian Coyle as he goes up against the Hobbs Eagles' Omar Argot. Tipped into the backcourt for the Trojans. They're going right to left on the radio dial, or if you're listening live, or watching live, I should say, on YouTube. Spinning at the top of the arc is Purchase. Hands it off to Martinez. Martinez with the pivot to the left wing. Is in a zigzag back to the top of the arc. A one-hand dangerous throw to Davis, who comes up with it. Davis with a couple of dribbles, stops at the top of the arc, finds Munoz on the right wing. He's their top scorer on the season. Backs out to the far sideline near the scorer's table. Slides left with the dribble. Hand off to Davis. Davis to the right wing, backs out. Some tough pressure being applied for the Eagles by Pena. Ball loose on the floor. Diving for it's Pena on the near sideline as he goes to the hardwood with his competitor there, Isaac Purchase, and the arrow is going to stay. Well, the arrow's pointing for Mayfield. They're going to point it back to Hobbs instead. The referee's going to correct the table on that one, and that will be the first turnover for the Trojans. Coming across the timeline, Pena finds Mackey on the right wing. Back to Pena, top of the circle. Hesitates for a minute, comes right, wants a clear out. Sliding with him on defense is Davis. Cross court left to Van Landingham. Top of the arc. High one to Acosta. He's going to back out of the pressure and gives it over to left wing to Pena near the scorer's table. Dribble to the top of the circle. Sends it right wing to Argot. Flicks it with two hands underneath to Van Landingham on the right wing. Cross court left to Acosta. Behind him to Pena for three. A high hit off the back of the rim. Goes up and hits the strap behind the backboard. And that will be out of bounds for Mayfield basketball.
Very close, but didn't have the shooter's touch, so it didn't go in.
Trap pressure for the Eagles, a 2-1-2 full court. Ball comes to the near sideline for the Trojans and Martinez. Cross court right on the pass to Purchase. Tups into the front court to Munoz right wing. Down low right block. Pivoting is Coyle. And back to the right corner he goes with the pass to Munoz. Lost the ball, knocked out of his hands momentarily by Argot. Chases it back to the timeline to reset for Purchase. Dribbles through his legs, stop and go dribble. Actually, that's Munoz. Gives to Purchase on the left wing. Comes down the lane, reverse, and throws up a shot over the front of the rim. No good. A fadeaway on the return on the right block. It doesn't drop as well for Coyle and chased down in the right corner by Van Landingham. Bad pass, though. Stolen away on the near sideline by the big kid Coyle. And they get it down low on the reverse, and scoring for the Mayfield Trojans is A.C. Munoz. Eagles' first turnover. It's 2-0 Mayfield. Coming in the front court is Pena on the left wing. He's guarded by Davis. Sends it up top to Argot. Jab step. Argot's waiting for the defender to come out on him, and does so, does Coyle. Over to Van Landingham on the right wing. Top of the circle, sliding right to left on the dribble. Flicks it up top to Pena. Over to right side to Mackey. Gets a screen from Argot. Fires a shot from the right elbow off the dribble and puts it through the net. The Eagle fans going to have to sit down now to get a rest. Waiting for that first shot to go through. Mackey with two. 5:40 left here in the first. Eagles and Mayfield tied up. Pass to half court to Purchase to bring it across. Stop and go to the right baseline. Tough pressure being put on by Pena. Fires it up top for a three on the way, and good from NBA distance. And a big connect there for Brian Coyle as he sends it through the cylinder. Actually, that's Munoz. He's got all 5 of the Mayfield points off the tray there. 5-2 Mayfield, 5:20 left. Bounce pass back door, going high, getting rejected in the air as Argot through 2 defenders. Tips out right baseline to Pena. 15-footer hits high off the rim. Long rebound in transition for the Trojans on the far right sideline is Munoz. Tries to send it ahead to Purchase backdoor left, but throws it into the Hobbs Eagle bench area for the Mayfield second turnover.
And that'll slow down that Mayfield Trojans scoring run so far. They've had a couple of good shots, and let's see what Hobbs can do.
Pena will bring it across, hand off to Mackey. Up top to Van Landingham, back to Mackey on the left wing. Defense was a little bit late getting out there. Finally doing so is Martinez. Mackey picks up a double team and gives it off up top to Acosta. Drives the right block, sends it back deep to Van Landingham. And he's dealing with that collarbone issue that he had in football at the end of the season and has worked through it. He's going to dribble all the way around the left part of the lane. Lost control of it off his fingertips. They're going to say it's out on him for the turnover, number 3 for the Eagles. Coach Reeves going to go to his bench early in this one and bring on the court for the Eagles, Braylon Vega. Of course, Vega just the freshman, but he's been showing something on the court for the Eagles in this season so far. Vega averaging 5.2 points a contest, actually started last night. Inbound to the near sideline on a double team pressure, throwing it back deep as Purchase, then across the timeline far right to Davis front court. Drives baseline, underneath the hoop, wraparound pass to Coyle left corner. Up top, shot on the way for 3 for Martinez off the back of the rim, and it comes right back to Mackey, the top of the circle. That's Mackey's first rebound. We got a whistle. Coach Reeves ran out in the court, and I guess they got a timeout, screaming in the referee's ear. I don't think he heard that there was a timeout call. And Coach Reeves didn't like what he saw up court for some reason. He's yelling at his team, not at the refs, but at his team not setting it up the way he wanted it to. So a timeout for Hobbs. 4:23 remaining first quarter. Mayfield 5, your Eagles 2. Back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. After a Hobbs Eagle timeout, Hobbs trailing Mayfield 5-2, 4:20 left first quarter. Pena comes across the timeline, hands off to Mackey right wing, spot shot from the right elbow off the back of the rim, rebound at the free throw line, pulled down by Martinez for the Trojans. Gets in traffic, underhand pass across the timeline to Munoz left wing, drives the baseline, wraparound pass off the back of Pena in the middle of the paint, knocks off his back out of bounds on the deflection. It will be Mayfield basketball. Notice the Hobbs Eagle coaching staff has all their chairs moved up to the baseline, so they're right on top of the action there. You can see a couple of the coaches, Soria and Ross, underneath there. Coach Reeves is standing at this point. Mayfield toss it back to half court on the inbound. Pena steals. Fourth turnover for Mayfield. Down to the other end and a finger roll for the Eagles. That's Abraham Pena. They call the foul from behind. Not sure if they're going to say that was a shooting foul or not. We'll go against the Trojans as they call that one on Martinez, his first and the team's first. They're going to call it a hold foul, so that will not be a shooting situation.
Yeah, and Pena showing why he was the leader of scoring yesterday. 4
turnovers for Mayfield. Hobbs basketball, top of the circle is Pena. He'll back it out, wants to clear out on the right side. Coming over to get it on the near sideline, though, is the big kid for the Eagles. Acosta spins as he comes in the lane and lost his pivot foot and spun around on top of that and got the travel. So the Eagles' second turnover of the contest. Clock stopped, 3:51 left, opening quarter. Mayfield still leading 5-2 after a tray put down by Munoz. He has all 5 of the Mayfield points and a bucket for Mackey for the Eagles. Up to the timeline comes Martinez with a jump stop. Cross court right, throwing it across to Purchase in the right wing. Gets a double team himself. Throws behind him on the right side to Munoz for 3. An air ball, wide open shot. Saved by Mayfield in the deep right corner, and it goes out of bounds. It will be Hobbs basketball. So Munoz had an open shot, but no rebounders underneath.
Yeah, and they were just, I don't know, caught flat-footed, not sure exactly what they were doing, possibly thinking the shot would just go in and they wouldn't have to worry about the rebound, but either way, you're right. They did not get close to it.
Eagles bring in one of their post players, Caden Hall, as he steps on. Coming across the timeline for the Eagles, Pena sends it to the right wing. Hard dribble to the lane to Vega. Kicks it left. As coming to get his Argot. Handoff to Mackey, left wing. He drives to the free throw line. Down to the right corner. 3 on the way for the freshman. Vega off the front of the rim. 3-point no good. Underneath this Hall for the rebound. His first. Throws it down the lane to Pena. Misses a double clutch over the front of the iron. They call the tip out. It will be Hobbs basketball. Actually, shooting that was Omar Argot. 52 instead of 22 on the shot. Coming down the lane on the runner. 3:10 left here in the opening quarter. Hobbs basketball on the left baseline. Inbounding is Vega. Up top to Pena for the 3. It's good over the top of a defender. He stroked it over Davis as Pena gets his first bucket in the first tray of the game. Eagles tie it up at 5. 3 minutes left first quarter. Ball comes across near sideline to Munoz. Down low and wide open for the reverse layup. Missing an easy tip was Coyle. Pulled down in the left block. Fade away for Martinez. No good. Underneath. Rebound again for Coyle. He swings it to the left corner once again to Martinez. Pass up top to Munoz. He'll back it out. Mackey will come out on him defensively. He shoves Mackey in the neck with his forearm. No call. Shot from the free throw line on the left elbow and puts it through. That's 7 now for Munoz. 7-5. Mayfield by 2. In the front court, right wing is Pena. He fires up an NBA 3 and nothing but net. Throws his fist in the air. Does Pena back-to-back trays. He's got 6 points to lead the Eagles.
And that's how you answer with a 2. You answer with a 3 and get the lead back as well.
8-7. Eagles, their big lead of 1 in this ball game. 3-point lead for Mayfield earlier. Trojans will get across with a couple of passes up top. Purchase for 3 on the fadeaway. In and out, no good. Hall gets a rebound on the left block for his second board. Throws it across the timeline to Pena. Tries to thread it over to Mackey in the left side of the court. And it gets knocked out by Mayfield. Kind of a tight pass that time. It will be Hobbs basketball. They lead by 1, 8-7. Looks like the Trojans try to get a sub in the game. Checking in for the Trojans will be Jesus Hidalgo, averaging 14.8 a contest. Inbound to Mackey on the right wing. Gets double team pressure. Gets around him down the lane. Hippity hop. Jump stop. Throws it up top to Argot. Behind the back pass to Mackey. NBA 3 from the top of the arc. In and out. No good. Underneath the hoop for the rebound for Mayfield was Munoz, his second. It looks like a reach around foul against the Eagles to pick up the foul. And that'll only be the first foul on the Eagles, I believe. Yep.
Yes, it is. And that's amazing. Clean game so far. First foul, as you said, for the Hobbs Eagles. But
a lot less for Argot than what we saw last night. They did call it on him, but he was in foul trouble by halftime.
Exactly.
Press or make it the trap press for the Eagles, and the pass comes across for Munoz on the right wing. Gets some tough pressure in his shorts by Pena. Dribbles up top after a screen by Purchase. Back over to the right wing. Martinez, stop and go. Guarded by Pena to the right corner. He's getting a lot of pressure, almost a 5-second count there. Down to the right block to Coyle. To the right corner again to Martinez. Fires up a 15-footer air ball. Pulled down on the right baseline by Vega. Throws it ahead for the Eagles to Mackey. 1-2 and up on the layup right side. Knocked to the floor. Ball comes off the side of the rim and the foul call. Got shoved in the neck that time. He's been knocked to the floor a couple times here in this first quarter. They're going to be shooting the 2 free throws. They called the foul on Mayfield against Coyle. That's his first, second team foul against the Trojans.
You know, some of the best players I've seen in the Hobbs Eagles lineup always seem to hit the floor at one point, actually in several points during one game.
So we're going to put Mackey on the line to shoot the free throw. Michael Mackey did not get any free throw attempts last night, shooting 74% on the season and puts the first one through the hole. Hobbs coming into this game at 61% from the charity stripe. Mackey now with 3 points as he nails his first there.
I think it was also because of the fact that he was kind of silent in the second half, didn't get any action as far as shooting-wise, so if he wasn't shooting, he wasn't getting fouled.
At the same time, getting a lot of pressure on the perimeter, some double teams and defenders right on top of him every play, it seemed, on the offense. One more shot to put to it to a 3-point lead. This will be the biggest of the game, and Mackey, great spin on the basketball, puts them both down, has 4 points. Eagles' biggest lead now is 3, 10-7, 1:17 left first quarter. Trying to go coast to coast and pulling it out on the right wing is Martinez, guarded by Van Landingham, who just checked in. Spin, kicks it up top. Bad pass to Hidalgo, has to chase it down near the timeline, finally picks it up and then gets guarded quickly for the Eagles by Acosta. Drives the lane, runner shot off the back of the rim. They're going to call the body foul. And Mackey's flat on his back. Looked like he got the worst of it there. Again, third time on the hardwood for Mackey, putting his body on the line for the Eagles. They called on him, though. That's his first, second team foul. And now some free throws for Mayfield. As stepping up for the Trojans will be Hidalgo. He's shooting 92% this season. As a team, 75% for the Trojans, and nails the first one there.
After it bounced some more.
First free throw good for the Trojans, 1 for 1 on the line. He's only the second guy to score so far. All 7 of the starting points for Mayfield from Munoz. Gets his second as well, 2 for Hidalgo, 10-9. Clock underneath, 1 minute left first quarter. Mackey with the ball across the timeline on the right wing. Gets a screen and doesn't use it. Comes up top of the pass instead to Hall. Hall over to Van Landingham on the left wing. Top of the arc off the dribble. Gives it right to Acosta. Still outside the perimeter. Stop and go. Hand off to Mackey. Keeps on the right side of the three-point arc to Hall on the left side. Hands off behind to Van Landingham going from left to right. Top of the arc. Backs out to the timeline. Stutter step. Almost lost the ball there. Able to hand it off to Acosta. To Mackey on the near side. 30 seconds left of the quarter. Running a lot of clock here. Gets a screen right side from Acosta. Top of the arc. Back to Acosta right. Elbow for a shot off the back of the rim. Pulled down by Hall underneath. His third rebound. Falls to the floor. Loose. And looks like we got Van Landingham hurt. Shot from the left corner off the mark for Vega from 18. Rebound right baseline for Hall. His fourth. Van Landingham has blown his ankle out. He is down on his knee at the other end of the court trying to get off to the bench. And he's going down hard. They were trying to get the referees to get their attention, but it was at the other end. He was running from one baseline to the other as he went down hard. It's not the collarbone this time. It's the ankle, it appears. I'm not sure which one. Possibly the left.
It looks like it is the left from what I saw.
So the Eagles will have the basketball. They do stop the action finally, and they get a sub in. Looks like Pena will check in. Hall remains in the court as well, as does Vega. Inbounding will be Mackey on the far left sideline. To the timeline to Pena. Hate to see Van Landingham going down after just his second game. Coming down the lane and trying to go up with a bicep move and clutching it. Lost it off the back of the rim, no good. Rebound for Mayfield. They don't get a chance to shoot the three at the buzzer as the last rebound coming down for the Trojans by Hidalgo. So it's a 10-9 game, very close contest here at Tasker Arena. Hobbs up by 1 over Mayfield. Back in 60 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Ready for second quarter action here at Tasker Arena. Ty friend Ron Gunner, Max back at the station. Your Eagles up 10-9 over Mayfield. Looking at the point production in the first quarter, 7 for AC Munoz for Mayfield, 2 on 2 for 2 free throw shooting for Hidalgo. For your Hobbs Eagles, Abraham Pena with 6 on 2 trays. Michael Mackey 4 on 2 for 2 free throws, shooting in a bucket. Of course, Van Landingham just went down before the end of the first quarter with an ankle injury. Hopefully we'll get him an update on him in just a minute. Mayfield basketball driving the lane, and a double clutch pass to the left corner as it's picked up by Hidalgo. Spin move to the left wing, kicks it down left corner. Fake a 3 is Munoz. Slides up on the right side or left side of the arc and throws it up top to Julian Gutierrez. Back deep to the timeline to Purchase on the right wing now off the dribble. Spins, comes around the left side of the circle. Over to the left corner to Hidalgo. Backing into Mackey up top of the arc now. And back to the timeline on a pass to Munoz. Crossover move down the lane. Lanes a dump down to the left block to Davis. Gives off to the left wing to Gutierrez and returns up top to reset to Munoz. Stop and go to the left side of the arc. To the left baseline. We got a 5-second violation. Talk about some tough D applied there by Jairus Turbiatis. As coming back here in the second quarter, getting that 5-second violation, the 5th Mayfield turnover. Should mention, too, Caden Hall came in the first quarter off the bench and had 4 of the Eagles' 7 rebounds. They had 7 rebounds compared to 7 for Mayfield. Pena in the front court now. Stop and go. One-hand bounce pass to Mackey on the right wing. Returns up top to Turbiatis. Over to left side to Pena. On the perimeter. Wraparound pass up top to Vega. Jab step. Comes right and hands it to Mackey. It's a sloppy pass, though. It gets ripped and tied up quickly by the defender, Julian Gutierrez on the arrow. It's going to go back to the Eagles, so dodging a bullet on that one.
Yeah, they did, and he was really trying to get that ball, was the Mayfield player, but tie ball and goes right back to the Hobbs Eagles.
Davian Davis checks on, the guard, a starter, 6'4" for the Trojans. He'll be the defender of Mackey, who's going to inbound on the near sideline in the front court in front of the Taskerbich band. Gets it in on the right wing to Pena. Fakes a 3, drives right baseline. Lean shot from the right block. Rolls in and out. He didn't get the kiss on that one. Underneath the hoop for the rebound for the Trojans is Gutierrez, his first. High helium pass to the free throw line. Picked off by Mackey. 6 Mayfield turnover. Comes in the middle of the paint. Dump off left wing to Vega. Cross court right to Pena for 3 off the front of the rim. Rebound for Vega. Goes back up on the left block. Leans to the hoop off the glass. Count it and the foul. Vega with his first bucket and second rebound for the Eagles. Nice job of passing and cutting and then waiting for the rebound off the missed shot. He'll go to shoot 2 on, or make it 1 on the chance for a 3-point play as they get the foul against Coyle, his third team foul against the Trojans.
And that is how Hobbs is going to win. Second chance points plus going strong to the hoop and also getting those fouls. That'll help as far as getting their confidence on the line, getting their confidence in shooting, and getting them right back in this game and helping them out.
Vega is 1 for 2 on the season from the free throw line for 50%. First opportunity in this game. Shot is up, and it's off the back of the rim. Pulled down on the left baseline on the roll down by Davis, but throws it right to the Eagles. Shot underneath, no good, but Hall picks it up and gets the rebound for the Hobbs squad. He's got 5 boards. To the right corner, Vega a fadeaway 3 and puts it down over the top of a defender. Vega with a big bucket. The freshman has 5 points. That's going to cause a timeout for the Mayfield Trojans and coach Keith Roberts. 6:16 remaining here in the second. Eagles with their biggest lead over Mayfield, 15-9. Back in 30 on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Second quarter action here at Tasker Arena. Last game before the Hobbs Holiday Tournament coming up. The day, or a couple days after Christmas, the 28th. 6:16 remaining here in the second. Your Eagles leading Mayfield 15-9. Mayfield will run the baseline in their backcourt after the timeout. It comes in on the throw to Davis. Davis runs up the near sideline off the dribble. As he gets guarded by the timeline as Debo Marquez has checked in for Hobbs, his first action here in the second. To the left wing and stops, waiting for help. Flips it back to Gutierrez near the timeline. Zigzag to the right and puts the stop on it. Goes it off to the right wing. On the pivot now is Martinez. Kick it up top to Purchase. Guarded closely by Mayfield, or make it Mackey, I should say. Drives the right lane as he cradles it. Throws up a shot going out of bounds on the right base. And it hits off the back of the rim. As a rebound underneath for Hall. That's his 6th of the ball game. Goes it ahead to a breaking Turbiatis. Goes up strong with the left hand underneath the hoop. Got knocked into the underneath the hoop, but they called the foul. So Turbiatis has got a chance for a couple of free throws. That is the 4th Mayfield foul so far as they get the charge foul there to Jesus Franco, his first, and puts Turbiatis on the line. So Jarrah's trying to get his first points of the ball game. Turbiatis comes into the game at 50%, 3 of 6 from the charity stripe. Did not get any chances last night. First one hard out the back of the rim, no good. Eagles now have been on the line 4 times. They're 3 of 4 from the charity stripe, or make it 2 of 4 for 50%. One more for Turbiatis. And a sub waiting to come in for the Eagles here momentarily. 5:40 left, second quarter. Hobbs up by 6, pinning a free throw from Turbiatis. Shots up, and it's in and out. No, it stays in finally. It looked like he's going to pop out of there and gets down for the point. Sub coming in for the Eagles. The big kid, Omar Argot, comes in for Turbiatis. 7-point Eagle lead. That's the biggest of the ball game for Hobbs. 16-9. Pressure coming with the 1-2-2. Everybody's in the half-court D on this one. Pass to the far sideline for Mayfield to Purchase. Cross-court left, a bad one off the hands of his teammate. Hidalgo on the near left sideline goes out of bounds. And a good job for Debo Marquez just to get away from it. Didn't want to touch it, have it go out of bounds off the Eagles. So that will be another Mayfield turnover, number 8 in the ball game for the green and white.
Blame that on the press for making that high-end pass that just went over his head and just past his hands.
Pena come across, gives it to Mackey, left wing, fakes it 3, drives the lane, gets tripped from behind, and they get the foul on Davian Davis, his first 15 foul against the Trojans. 5-2 foul count favor the Eagles at this point, and they'll get the ball on the right baseline underneath their hoop, up by 7.
So we're going to see if we can take advantage of those fouls.
Eagles stack 3 on the left side of the lane. One is Mackey on the right. Dish into left corner, a 18-footer off the mark for Pena, pulled down on the right baseline. On the rebound for Hidalgo, his second. Throws it ahead, juggled on the left wing in the front court for Franco. Gets it back up top to get the offense going to Gabriel Apodaca. Finds Davis at the timeline. Mackey gets a hand on his hip, and then coming over to help Debo Marquez and bumps into him. They call the foul. All Hobbs Eagle coaches up on the bench now, jumping up and applauding Marquez, trying to get the steal on that one. That's going to be the first on Devon. The third team foul against the Eagles. Inbound to the right wing, pulled down by Franco, had to jump for it. Gives it back to Davis on the right wing as well. Up top of the circle to Hidalgo. Marquez right on top of him. Got a slap on the ball to the left wing off the dribble to the corner. Cradle and holds it now. Bounce pass to the free throw line. Coming back to get it is Franco. Kick out to the right wing to Munoz. Munoz dribbles up to the top of the arc, down the left lane, scoop shot, over the rim, no good. Chased down by the Eagles. Mackey on the far left side, his second board. He weaves through traffic, goes to the left side of the glass, and a double clutch. Put it down for 2. Mackey kisses it home. He's got 6 to tie up Pena for top score. 18-9, Eagles' biggest lead is 9, doubling up on Mayfield. 4:20 left in the half. Mayfield ball in the right wing, front court. Davis down the lane, reverse layup left, rolls out the front of the rim, no good, but tip back up and in on the glass over the front of the iron by Munoz. He's got 9 points and 3 rebounds. 18-11, 7-point Eagle lead. Marquez will bring it across, comes right wing, handed off to Pena. Pena will hold it for a second, drives the right base, shot from the right block, bodied up, no call. The ball hits the baseline, but they're going to say it was touched by Mayfield. Kind of a delay after the shot there, as I think both teams are expecting a foul call. Hidalgo caught it, but he stepped on the line for the turnover.
Yeah, whether it be a charge or what.
Or a block.
They were just, block. They were trying to figure out what was going on. And the refs just let it play, and next thing you know, the ball was out of bounds.
Marquez to inbound on the left baseline for the Eagles underneath the hoop. Finds the freshman on the right wing. Vega drives the free throw line, throws a fade shot off the back of the iron, pulled down for the Trojans by Davis. He'll take the dribble up against Marquez in the front court. Front side now, dribbling through his legs. Over to the right wing to Apodaca. One dribble and pass to the left side arc to Munoz. And touch pass the same side to Hidalgo in front of the Hobbs Eagle student section. He pivots, tough pressure by Marquez. Dribbles up top of the circle, down the right side of the lane. Lost the ball in the air. Pass to himself, no call. Dish out right wing to Davis for 3 off the back of the rim. Rebound in the left wing, pulled down by Munoz. That's his 4th board. Dribbles up top of the circle to the right elbow. Flips it back to Hidalgo on the right wing. He spins. Kicks it right wing again to Munoz on that far sideline. Drives the lane. Tries to go up with a double clutch. Gets stripped from behind, and Markey gets a piece of it. But then it also touches the Mayfield player, Munoz. It goes out of bounds. Hobbs basketball. So a 7-point lead kept for the Eagles with 3:14 left in the second quarter. And Mayfield getting kind of sloppy on the offense.
Yeah, plus not a whole lot of scoring going on with this game so far, as either side is having trouble with the defense. But they're still moving the ball.
8 points for Hobbs, just 2 for Mayfield. Eagle gets it across the timeline. Omar Argot to Mackey, had to jump for it on the left sideline. Back to Argot in the give and go. Double clutch left glass, no good, coming down the lane. And pull down for the Trojans off the boards on that right baseline is Munoz, his 5th board. He'll dribble across the timeline, backing into Argot. Gives it over to the right wing to Martinez. Crossover move, jump stop, kick back right wing to Purchase, comes down the lane. And tosses the left wing. 3 on the way for Davis off the front of the rim. Rebound on the right, block by Martinez, his 3rd, and sends it to the left corner to Purchase. Bad pass up top. Mackey gets a steal. 10th Mayfield turnover. He goes to the other end and lays it on off the right glass for the points. Mackey now with 8 to lead the Eagles. And a 9-point lead, the biggest, matching the biggest of the game, 20-11 Hobbs over Mayfield. Driving down to the other end, down the lane is Purchase. Kicks it to the right corner for Munoz. 3 is nothing but net. Second tray of the ball game. He's got 12 now. 20-14, down to 2:05 left first half. Mackey in the front court, going to slow it down now near the scores table left sideline. Quick pass over to Vega. Vega's going to hold it, guarded closely by Purchase. Gets a screen, and coming over to help was Vega. Gets the ball, does Vega. Back, give and go with an alley-oop to Vega, and it's actually blocked in the air. Nice swat at it by Davis. The ball goes out on the near sideline, but back to the Eagles, so Hobbs will get it back. Mayfield gets a fumble out of bounds. That'll be their 11th turnover. Mackey's going to go take a break for the Eagles. So on the court for Hobbs, Marquez, Pena, Vega, Acosta, who's just checked in, and Caden Hall, who's got 5 rebounds so far for the Eagles. Actually, he's got 6. Definitely getting on the glass for Hobbs. Coming into the right wing to Vega, front court. Up top to Argot, dribbles left and stops, jump stop, goes back door, breaking the lane and laying it up with a scoop shot off the back of the rim. Acosta, no good, tipped up by Hall, couldn't get it to drop, and Mayfield pulls it down and gets the dribble out to the far sideline for Davis. Cross court left to Purchase, drives the left side of the lane, jump stop, double clutch. They're going to say he traveled first before taking the shot, got through 2 defenders. The crowd started booing, thought they were going to call a foul, but a travel instead.
Yeah, they do get a jump ahead of themselves as far as calls. They always think they're going to be bad and against Hobbs, but this time around, it was just a simple travel.
12th Trojan turnover, already in double digits. Eagles come across with Pena, fakes the handoff, goes baseline, 15-footer fadeaway off the back of the rim, no good. Rebound on the right baseline by Purchase for the Trojans, his first. He'll take the dribble himself, sends it deep down the near sideline and out of bounds in front of the Hobbs Eagles student section for the 13th turnover. So Hobbs starting to get in the head of the green and gold team.
Exactly, and they are seeing things that aren't even there. He passed that ball well ahead of him, his own team, and the teammate was not even able to get to it.
Underneath 1 minute left in the second quarter. Hobbs by 6, 20-14. Bounce pass up top to Vega in the front court, top of the arc. It's a screen from Argot, doesn't use it, dribbles to the far sideline, flips it back deep to Pena at the time strike. Very patient with the offense now. Stop and go, down the lane, hippity hop, reverse layup left side, rolls around the rim, and toilet bowl flushes through for Pena. He's got 8 points. Ties up the scoring with Mackey. 22-14, Hobbs by 8. Coming to the midcourt with the dribble across the timeline is Martinez. Sends it up top of the arc to Davis, clocked at 25. Kicks it to the right corner to Davis. Dribbles up the baseline, reverse. No, he didn't reverse it. He passed instead to the left wing to Purchase. Up top, 3-point shot blocked for Davis by Hall. Loose in the paint, and the Eagles diving on the floor. Bodies flopping on top of each other here. And we're going to have to wait to see who had possession. Hobbs finally gets it. I think they got the timeout, too, to stop the jump ball. Diving on the floor, sliding across. I'm sure he's got floor burns. That was Omar Argot. That'll get him a rebound. And that will also get the timeout for the Eagles. Nice job for Coach Reeves to jump out on the court to make sure there was not going to be a jump ball because the arrow would have been Mayfield's. We'll take a quick 30-second break. Your Eagles up by 8 over the Trojans, 22-14. Come back with us on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Your Hobbs Eagles lead by 8, 22-14, 12.9 seconds left in the half. Kind of a sluggish game so far, but the Eagles got the lead.
Yeah, they do, and that's all that really matters in the end. They could score 4 points as long as Hobbs is leading. That's all that matters to me.
Inbound to Mackey with 11 seconds. He'll bring it up across. The Mayfield Trojans backpedaling on D. Comes to the free throw line, lost the ball. Off the turnover to the third. They'll throw it ahead for a wide open layup. And that'll be Jose Martinez to get his first bucket, and that will run out the first half clock. I don't think that's what Coach Reeves and the staff drew up during the timeout, but no. The Eagles still have the lead at the half, 22-16 over Mayfield. We'll take a 3-minute break and come back with the Hobbs Eagle halftime show live on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube. Back live at Task Arena, Ty friend Ron Gunner, Max back at the station for this afternoon affair as the Hobbs Eagles lead Mayfield 22-16 and only 38 points on the scoreboard in this one. Last night, the two teams combined for just 50 at halftime with Oregon Mountain.
Yeah, for some reason the defense is throwing in a lot of wrenches against this offensive set from both sides, and we're not getting a whole lot of scoring going on, which may or may not be good for you because you don't have to keep up so many stats, but we would like to see more scoring, maybe even on both sides, to see if they can get a little bit more in a rhythm than they have been. So far it's been rather difficult, especially since they've been scoring in, Mayfield's been scoring single digits in both quarters.
Yeah, it was 10-9 at the end of one. Eagles by one. Hobbs outscoring Mayfield 12-7 in the second quarter. Again, a 6-point halftime lead. Biggest lead for the Eagles in this one has been 9, and for Mayfield it was 3 early in the ball game. Let's look at the individual numbers so far for Mayfield. They have one in double digits already, and the only player in the game that has double digits, that's 12 for AC Munoz. He had a couple of trays, one in the first quarter and one in the second quarter. He also leads the Trojans with 5 rebounds rebounds. After that, a big drop-off in scoring, of course. Jose Martinez with 2 points and 3 boards. Jesus Hidalgo has 2 points on 2 for 2 free throw shooting and 3 rebounds. So only 3 scores in the book so far for Mayfield. They've got a total of 18 rebounds so far. They're out-rebounding the Eagles by 5. We mentioned 5 for AC Munoz, 3 apiece for Martinez, Davis, and Hidalgo. And the big problem for Mayfield at this point, Ron, has been the turnovers. They've had 13. A lot of those unforced errors, just long passes down court that have been knocked out of bounds, and some other issues in terms of getting the ball around the perimeter.
And you can expect Mayfield to come in with some adjustments on that because, like you said, they've been making some long passes. They have not connected, as they say, and it's usually incomplete. But in this case, it is a turnover, and either way, it is not good for Mayfield. Hobbs, on the other hand, is doing really well as far as keeping it clean anyway. There are no fouls or little fouls anyway. And I believe they are fouling at the right times, at least slowing the Mayfield Trojans team down enough to where they don't get into a scoring streak like we saw yesterday with the Oregon Mountain Knights. And I think that's part of the thing that's going on. I think Hobbs is being able to control the tempo of this. Usually we like to see a fast tempo. We've seen a couple of fast breaks from Michael Mackey, and that's a good thing. Maybe he'll come out in the second half and do more of that.
Yeah, he's got 8 points for the Eagles, so not a lot of free throw shots for Mayfield, just 2 for 2 on the line. That was Jesus Hidalgo, his only scoring of the ball game. Looking at your Hobbs Eagles, we mentioned Mackey leads along with Abraham Pena, both of those players with 8 points. Mackey's also 2 for 2 from the line and has 2 rebounds for the Eagles. Abraham Pena also with 8, hit 2 trays in the first quarter and a bucket in the second. So him and Mackey combining for 16 of the Hobbs Eagles' 22 points, a multi-majority of the points scoring with those 2 guys. Braylon Vega came off the bench in this game, the freshman with 5 points. He had a tray and a bucket and 2 rebounds for the Eagles' cause. And then after that, it was Jairus Turbiatas coming off the bench, 1 of 2 on the line with 1 point. So 4 scores for the Eagles. They've had a total of 13 rebounds, 5 less than Mayfield. 7 of those 13, though, for Caden Hall, doing a good job coming off the bench. Of course, Caden's got some size for the Eagles, which will help you out on the glass as much as possible. And they'll definitely want to see him banging like he was in the first half. Eagles only on the line 5 times. They went 3 of 5 for 60%. And only had 3 turnovers compared to 13 for the Trojans, 10 less. And I think that is the difference in the ball game, although Hobbs only up by 6.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things that does make a difference if you do it right. 10 turnovers over, yes, that's definitely going to make it difficult for a team to get into the lead with that. But like we said before, Mayfield is scrapping for a win, and they're going to come out in the second half and maybe show some moves that we haven't seen before.
So we'll get started here in about 2 minutes as it's 22-16, Hobbs over Mayfield. Stay with us on the Hobbs Eagle Network. Getting ready for third quarter action here at Task Arena as the Hobbs Eagles lead Mayfield 22-16. Hobbs coming in at 4-3. The Trojans at 1-8. This will be the last game before the Hobbs Holiday Tournament and right before the Christmas break. Of course, the Eagles will be December 28th here at home. 8:15 start time as they'll take on Oregon Mountain, the team the Eagles lost to last night, 60-51. I didn't get a chance to see if Oregon Mountain has any more games before their appearance back in the tournament.
I believe they have one more game. I believe it's against Deming.
Okay, so it should be an easy win on that one because
yes.
I think they played Deming twice already, if I remember right. So that'll be kind of close to home for them. But again, they're going to be ready for the Hobbs Holiday Tournament just like the Eagles are. We'll go ahead and go through that schedule when we get to the postgame show at the end of this one.
Not to jinx the Eagles, by the way, but the last time they lost to Mayfield here was 2014.
So that's been about 8 years ago. Trojans get the inbound of the backcourt, and Purchase looked like he pushed off and comes across against Marquez for the Eagle defense. Comes around the left wing, did not hand it off, was thinking about it, and then slings it up with a one-hander to Munoz, top of the circle. Bounce pass right block, it's knocked away for a second. Pulled down in the right corner, though, for Martinez. Gives it right back to his post player, Coyle, behind him on the right side. Looks like there might be a hold foul against the Eagles, and that'll be charged to Hobbs. Demon Marquez picking up his second. First team foul against the Eagles. They only had 3 fouls in the first half, playing pretty clean basketball, so definitely what you want to see. And we got Hall checking in already. A quick sub for the Eagles, and Coach Reeves comes in for Brian Acosta. Mayfield basketball on the left baseline, gets it in on the right wing to Munoz. Back deep up top of the circle to Coyle. Hands it off on the right wing to Purchase. Gets some tough pressure by Marquez. Screen applied by Munoz, and he'll back it out to the timeline, does Purchase. Unloads to the right side to Davis on the near sideline. Drives the middle of the lane. Runner shot on the way and flips it over the front of the rim for 2. Davis with his first bucket of the ball game. It's 22-18, Hobbs by 4. Long pass down to Mackey in the right corner of the front court. Goes off Mackey as he had some contesting over there by the defender, Jose Martinez. A double touch and goes out against the Eagles. That's the 4th Eagle turnover. They're going to have to play some pressure defense now.
Not the way you want to start this third quarter.
Yeah, 2-0 count so far for Mayfield. Inbound up the far left sideline to Munoz in front of the scores table backcourt. Throws it back deep to Davis. He goes one-on-one against Mackey. Stop and go. Finally gets it across the timeline to the right wing. Gives it off to Purchase, guarded by Mackey. Gets around him for a second. No-look pass to the left corner to Coyle. Kicks it up top for 3 for Munoz. Off the back of the rim. Pulled down in the left block by Coyle. His 3rd rebound. Turnaround jump shot again off the back of the rim. No good. And Marquez comes up with it for the Eagles at the free throw line. His first rebound. Finds Davis left corner up top to Marcus. Swing right to Mackey. Stop and go. Dribbles behind his back. Returns back deep to Pena. He'll back it out on the right wing. On the far sideline. Looking for some rotation. Gets a screen from Davis. Gives it to Davis. And it gets knocked off his hands out of bounds on the baseline. Really wasn't ready for it. He tried to get his head spun around, but it came off his fingertips. So that'll be the Eagles' 5th turnover. They have had 2 turnovers to start this third quarter.
And I know for a fact that it's hard to adjust to a ball coming right at you.
3D action going on there. Trying to get through to 2 defenders as Munoz fumbles it, taken away by Hall, then picked up by Pena. He goes to the rack to the other end. The reverse on the left side is no good. Rebound on the far sideline by Argot, his 2nd board. And then it's taken by Mayfield to the other end on the steal, and laying it in is Jose Martinez. He's got 4. 22-20, a 2-point ball game with 6 at the half. Backdoor pass for the Eagles. Double clutch for Pena on the right glass, no good. Another Mayfield rebound on the left block by Devon Davis, his 4th board. Send it across to Munoz in the left corner. He's going to fire a 3. Rainbow jumper. Nails it right through the hole with the defender right in his face. That was Argot that time. So Munoz now with 15 points on 3 trays and a 1-point Mayfield lead. They haven't led since the first quarter early. And it looks like we got a whistle underneath. That's going to be a timeout for Coach Reeves. He does not like what the pace is doing, the turning of the tables by the Trojans, who lead 23-22. We had a halftime score of 22-16. That is a differential for Mayfield of 7 compared to no points for the Eagles. 7-0 run here.
Yeah, and I was expecting, once that 3 dropped, I knew that Coach Reeves was going to call a timeout. He had to adjust his team. We've been making a couple of bad passes, also a couple of bad shots as well. No shots been made so far in this quarter, and they've also allowed a couple of easy points for the Trojans. So you got to stop it. You got to get back, regroup, and be able to get stop that momentum for the Trojans as well.
Yeah, they've had 3 3-pointers for AC Munoz. Leads both teams with 15 points. He's got all 3 of the trays for Mayfield. So far in the game, the Eagles have 3 trays as well. Pena's got 2 of them, and Vega got the other for the Eagles.
Hard to believe that Munoz is just a junior, and he did so well in his sophomore year. So you know he's going to be doing well this year as well as next year, provided he doesn't get injured.
And of course, the other kid we mentioned, Vega with the tray, he's just a freshman, so cool to see him being moved up and get some good quality minutes for the Eagles. He actually started last night as well. 5:41 left, third quarter after the Eagle timeout. They'll have it in the front court, right in front of the Taskerbich band on the near left sideline. It'll be Mackey to inbound as he gets guarded by Julian Gutierrez to contest the inbound pass. High floater into Pena at the time stripe. He'll turn and look for the offense. Gonna hold it for just a minute. One hand's over to the right wing, in the hands of Vega. Back up top to Davis. It was almost thrown behind him a little bit. Almost got a steal on that one. Handoff behind him to Pena, top of the arc, 3, and he nails it through. Abraham Pena has his 3rd tray of the ball game and leads the squad with 11 for the Eagles. 25-23 Hobbs. Davis with the stop and go in the front court for the Trojans. Dumps it to the free throw line to Munoz. Fadeaway J from the right elbow. Clinks around the rim and drops in for Munoz. He's got 17. 25 all. Here comes Mackey in the front court. Low scoring game, just a total of 50 points. Mackey gets a screen up top from Turbiatis. Slides over to the left side to Vega for 3, and he nails another one. Big time 3-point shot that time for Braylon Vega. He's got 8 points on 2 trays. 28-25, Hobbs by 3. Coming in the front court is Purchase, top of the circle. Pivots as he uses up the dribble. Turbiatis chesting him up. Slings it back to the timeline to Gutierrez. Comes right and hands it off to Davis near the timeline. Sliding right to left, spins back to the right side of the arc. Clutches, goes to the rack on the right block, misses out the back of the rim. Eagles pull it down. That's Davis for the Eagles, or Hall, I should say. That's 7 for him. Throws it across the timeline, left wing to Vega for 3. This one out the back of the rim. And just waiting for it was Purchase on the far left. He's got his 2nd board. Throws it across the timeline. Jumping catch there on the right corner for Gutierrez. Baseline. Throws it back deep and then gets it stolen for the Eagles by Braylon Vega for turnover number 14. Up ahead to Hall. Hall with the hook shot in the paint. We're going to call the block foul. I believe it's on the floor, so Hobbs will have it on the baseline.
Exactly.
So Eagles should have it underneath their hoop. Up by 3, 28-25 with 4:06 left here in the third. Hobbs trying to work on their 5th win of the season, and Mayfield just trying to get their 2nd.
And break their 9-game losing streak right now.
And we got a sub coming in for the Trojans. Checking on is Jesus Hidalgo. Comes in for Julian Gutierrez. Inbounding will be Vega on the left baseline underneath the Eagle hoop. Puts it into Hall on the right block. Back out to the right wing to Vega. Sends it back to the timeline to Pena. Dribbles right. Slits through 2 defenders. Throws up a shot on the run. Bouncing off the rim, no good, but put back up and in, and a vicious throw at the hoop by Jairus Turbiatis with 2 hands. He threw his head forward as he put that one up. He's got 3 points and his first rebound. 30-25, Eagles by 5. In the front court, getting bodied is Davis. It looked like Pena was just throwing a hip at him that time, so Pena is going to pick up only his second team foul on the Eagles. Clock stop with 3:43 remaining here in the third. Hobbs by 5.
2 fouls for Hobbs, 1 for Mayfield. So far, a clean game going on.
Coach Reed's going to go to his bench, bring in Brian Acosta, checking in for Hall. Again, Hall with, so far, 8 rebounds for the Eagles. Mayfield basketball on the near sideline to inbound Davis in the front court. Gets it in to Coyle. Back to Davis on the right wing. Fakes the 3, uses up his dribble though. Bounce pass back to Coyle on the right block. Turns and fires a one-hand shot put, no good. Gets his own rebound. Fade away from the right block. It's pushed backward. It looked like it was going to drop, and they called the foul, and it came out of the cylinder. So that'll be Coyle's 4th rebound. He gets a chance for some free throws here.
And guess who picked himself up off the floor one more time? Yes, it was Mackey.
They called the foul on Pena for his 2nd, 3rd team foul, and 2 on the line here for Coyle. Team was 2 of 2 on the line, 100%, but it misses the first one. A clinker off the front of the rim. Coyle trying to get in the scorebook here. Coyle leads the team with 6.5 rebounds a contest. Trying to get his first point on this 2nd free throw opportunity. Shot is up, and it is bounced around the rim and good. Coyle with 1 for 2 free throw shooting, and Coach Roberts going to call the timeout. Hobbs still up by 4, 30-26, 3:33 left, third quarter. Coming back in 30 seconds on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube. 3:33 left, third quarter, as Hobbs Eagle basketball continues on the Hobbs Eagle Network. 30-26, Hobbs up on Mayfield by 4. Coach Roberts' little strategy timeout there as they're pulled within that 4-point range. Eagles been up by as many as 9, and Mayfield as many as 3 in this ball game. Hobbs will get the inbound in the backcourt, and bringing it up will be Pena. His defender going to backpedal to the top of the arc in the front court. Pena's going to one-hand it over to the right wing to Costa, drives baseline, flips it back right corner to Vega for 3, and swishes it through. Third tray of the game for the freshman. He's got 11 points, Braylon Vega. 32-26, Hobbs back up by 6. And we go to the 3:10 mark of the third. Stop and go dribble in the front court for Purchase. One hands off to the Munoz on the right wing. Jab step, goes baseline with it, uses up his dribble, and we got to travel. He slid the pivot foot. Tough pressure being applied by Acosta on that block, right side of the rim, and that will be the 15th turnover for Mayfield. Hobbs with only 6. 3:04 left in the third, up by 6, 32-26. Inbound comes to the backcourt as Pena will dribble across the timeline. Top of the circle, flips it over to the right wing to Acosta, returns to Pena. Trying to get a screen from Turbiatis around the left wing, but Turbiatis through the knee and knocks the defender off balance for the foul. Applied the knee to Coyle, and that'll be a foul on Turbiatis, his first. 14th foul, also a turnover for the Eagles, number 7. Mayfield basketball in front of the Hobbs Eagles student section on the near sideline backcourt. So inbounded to Purchase, guarded by Brian Acosta. Purchase on a stop and go, crossover move, behind his back, top of the circle. No look pass to the right block, fumbling it is Munoz, diving to the floor, and they're going to call the jump ball. Nice dive for Mackey to tie him up near the right baseline. That arrow going to go with the Eagles, so that's a Mayfield turnover, number 16. Not doing themselves any justice, Ron, when you're in a close ball game like this and coughing the ball up on unforced errors.
Absolutely, and we just got a substitute in for Archie Buke. He is on the floor now.
So he's getting his first action in the game. And coming across the timeline is Pena. Top of the circle, one hands it off to the right wing to Vega, the big three-point artist. Bounce pass up top to Pena. Over to left wing to Acosta, drives the middle of the lane, comes over the top of the rim, floater, and puts it over the score on the rim. Counted for Acosta, his first bucket of the ball game. Eagles now with 5 scores in the books, an 8-point lead, 34-26. Across the timeline comes Munoz. Nice D by Pena. Unloads the ball to the left wing to Purchase, near the scores table. Waiting for a screen to come, and does get one from Coyle. Dribbles around him to the far left sideline. Gives it right back to Coyle. Shot just in front of the free throw line, no good. The other number 34 for the Eagles with the rebound outside the paint. That's Acosta. Cross court left to Pena. Throws it up ahead to Vega. Drives the lane. Kick out to Mackey. NBA 3 from the right side off the front of the rim. Gets his own rebound coming down the paint. Jump stop on the free throw line. Over to Pena left wing. Returns to Mackey. Top of the circle. 1:45 left third quarter. Eagles by 8. Stop and go dribble for Mackey. Double team against him up top to a wide open Vega for Trey off the front of the rim, no good. In the middle of the paint for the rebound for Mayfield is Munoz, his 6th. Dribbles to the left wing, bounce pass, top of the circle to Purchase, drives the lane, dumps it left block, fumble for a second, but Coyle lays it up with the left hand and scores. He's got 3 points, all coming in the third. 34-28 your score. 1:19 left in the third, a 6-point Eagle lead. Shot for Mackey at the free throw line off the back of the rim. And rebound at the free throw line for the Mayfield Trojans by Coyle, his 5th. Throws it ahead to a breaking. Martinez goes to the rack, right side uncontested, and lays it in for 2. Martinez now with 6. A 4-point Eagle lead with 1 minute left third. Slowing it down now is Pena to try to get some offense momentum here. Taking his time as he comes across against the defensive Hidalgo. Dribbles through his legs, unloads to the right wing to Vega, spins on the pivot. Getting some tough pressure by Purchase. 5-second count is on. Throws a high one down low underneath the hoop to Archibek. And they call the foul, I believe, over the back there on Mayfield. So Hobbs will get it on the left baseline underneath their hoop with 42 seconds left in the third.
I can report good news and bad news. I see that Van Nottingham is back on with the team, but I also see crutches behind him, and he's got a shoe off.
Yeah, bad sign there for the Eagles. Foul called on Martinez, his 2nd. That's the first team foul, or second team foul, the Trojans in the third. They inbounded to Archibek. Little layup with his left hand. No defenders getting in his way that time. His first bucket of the ball game. 36-30, clock to 30 seconds. An elbow thrown in the face of Pena, no call. And coming across with a hard dribble behind his back now is Martinez. He got away with one. Unloads the left side, Hidalgo. Lost the ball in the lane. Mackey gets a pick. 17 turnover. Mackey goes to the rack on the left side. They're going to call a floor foul. Getting held before he goes up with a layup left side. Call that one on Jose Martinez. Actually saved an easy bucket there as Coach Reese didn't like it, but the Mayfield Coach Roberts liking the call because it stopped the easy two. So Martinez with his third team foul.
Yeah, that one rolled around the cylinder and he went in, but I've asked for no count.
Inbound to Acosta, drives the left side of the lane on the crossover move, lays it off the glass and counted. Acosta with 4 points as he got knocked to the floor. And there's a turnover, bad pass to the far sideline, out of bounds near the scores table. And that's the 18th Trojan turnover here in the coming into this third quarter. 12 seconds left before the end. It's 38-30, Hobbs by 8.
Into the third.
Inbound to the backcourt to Pena. Slows it up once again, brings it across the timeline. A screen on the right side by Acosta. Pena backs out of it. 2 seconds. One shot from the top of the arc, and the buzzer off the back of the rim high. No good. Hobbs with an 8-point lead, 38-30 over Mayfield. We'll come back in 60 seconds on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube. Back to live action here at Tasker Arena. The Hobbs Eagles lead Mayfield 38-30. Hobbs scoring 16 in that third quarter and 14 for Mayfield. So a little bit more point production, what we've been seeing for the first couple of quarters in this game. So an 8-point lead for the Eagles. Top scorer so far for Mayfield, 17 for AC Munoz and 6 for Jose Martinez. For your Eagles, 2 in double figures and have the same points. Braylon Vega with 11, Abraham Pena with 11. Those two guys have combined for 6 trays, 3 apiece. So big time production for those underclassmen for the Eagles. Mayfield basketball to start the fourth. Ball gets thrown to the left wing to Davis. Bounce pass up top, spin move. Coming down the lane to Doggo, gets his shot rejected. Knocked out to the baseline. Good swat at the ball that time for Braylon Vega. Eagles been out rebounded though through 3 quarters, 24-18, but they still have the 8-point lead. Not a lot of free throw opportunities, just 5 shots for Hobbs and 4 for Mayfield. Inbound to the right wing, 3 on the way. Coming for Mayfield off the back of the rim is Munoz. High rebound, going to the top of the rim that time, pulling it down. Chris Archibek. Archibek's first board of the game. Throws it across the timeline to Pena. Top of the circle with 7:35 left in the game. Eagles by 8. Pena will back it out to the timeline of the Hobbs Eagle logo. Bounce pass on the right elbow to Acosta. Mackey will get the handoff on the right wing. Jab step, drives the baseline. 15-footer fadeaway and puts it through on the flush of the toilet bowl there. Mackey with 10 points. Third player in double figures for the Eagles. They have had 6 scorers so far. 10-point lead, the biggest of the ball game.
And Mackey's been showing some great range from that area.
40-30 score. Stop and go dribble in the paint. Losing the ball is Purchase. Taken away from Mackey. 19th Mayfield turnover. Reverse layup on the left side and scores. Mackey with back-to-back buckets. He's got 12 points. 42-30. The Eagles' biggest lead now is 12 and starting to pull away here at Tasker Arena. Hard dribble now for Munoz in the front court against Mackey on the left wing. He'll hand it off behind him to Purchase. Dribbles top of the circle, continues down the right side of the lane, gets underneath his bicep, lost the ball going up, taken away for the Eagles by Pena. Bounce pass back door to the left side of the rim, and laying it up is Vega. He's got 13 points, and a timeout for the Eagles. They have their biggest lead of the contest at 14, 6:37 remaining here in Tasker Arena. 44-30 your score, and it looks like the run is going to continue for the Eagles. They have put up a 6-0 run, and then Hobbs calls the timeout. I wonder what Coach Reese
Actually, no, I saw it was Mayfield.
Yeah, I guess they saw it from the other end. And one of the assistant coaches talking to a referee, but this has nothing to do with refs at this point. Just the momentum for the Hobbs Eagles. I didn't think they want to put this one in the books and go into the Hobbs Holiday Tournament with a W.
Exactly, and plus they want to get that nasty taste out of the mouth from yesterday. They definitely want to make sure that they get into it with a win. especially since they're facing Oregon Mountain again for the for their opponent for the first game. They definitely want to make sure they get back in the winning side.
And to make your plans for the tournament, that's going to be December 28th, a couple days after Christmas on that Wednesday. Eagles will host Oregon Mountain at 8:15. Other teams in the tourney this year, the 63rd annual for the boys, Artesia playing Cleveland at 9:45, Farmington versus Spring Valley at 1:15. At the 4:45 game, Highland and Ferris High School. And then, of course, I mentioned the Hobbs boys at 8:15. For you Hobbs Lady Eagle fans, which is everybody in town, the Lady Eagles will host Parkland El Paso at 6:30 again here at Task Arena. Women or girls and boys games both will be the late games for all 3 days of the tournament, no matter what their status is in the brackets, either consolation or championship brackets. Hobbs up by 14 with their biggest lead here at the fourth quarter over Mayfield, 44-30. Inbounding on the right baseline of the backcourt is Hidalgo. Full court pressure defense for the Eagles. They get it in to Purchase. He'll drive hard as he puts his head down and bumps into Acosta across the timeline. Crossover move, one hand pass to the right wing to Davis, drives baseline, gets rejected in the air by Mackey. Then he runs over the top of the Eagle defender, and that was stepping up Chris Archibek for the charge. That will be another turnover for Mayfield, their 20th of the ball game, and the charge called on Davis, his second, 14th foul against the Trojans.
And as you say, Archibek took one for the team and came up and was able to do that. Of course, we can't do that anymore. We're not as young as we used to be.
Pena coming across the timeline, slowing up to get the offense set. One-hand bounce pass on the right elbow to Vega. Or actually, correction, that's Acosta. He pivots, kicks it back to Pena on the right wing, drives to the free throw line on the runner shot down the lane, off the back of the rim, just waiting for the board in the middle of the paint for Mayfield was Coyle, his sixth board. Goes into the front court to Munoz, goes to the reverse layup on the right side, high off the glass and puts it through. He's got 19 to lead both teams.
He went coast to coast.
12-point lead for the Eagles, 44-32. Mackey in the front court, gets a screen on the right wing for Acosta, sends it to the left side of the arc to Archibek. Fadeaway three out the back of the rim. Underneath the hoop for it was Munoz on his seventh rebound. Into the front court, dribbles behind his back, down the lane, throws up a scoop shot underneath the basket, no good. Mackey picks up the rebound, his fourth, sends it ahead to a breaking Pena and goes to the hoop with a double clutch and scores off the glass. Vega now with 15 points, and we got a timeout on the court for the Eagles. 5:29 remaining in the fourth. Hobbs 46, Mayfield 32. Back in 30 seconds on the Hobbs Eagle Network. I'll have to get him off my phone. Back to fourth quarter action here at Tasker Arena. Ty friend Ron Gunner, Max at the station today as your Eagles lead over Mayfield 46-32. Of course, the Hobbs Lady Eagles on the road. Ron, they got a couple of visitor games there in Las Cruces. They will be back Tuesday night for a home contest. So here at Tasker Arena, that's the last action before the Hobbs Holiday Tournament. Of course, coming up December 28th. So Eagles would like to put a W in the books here and pick up their fifth win as they get ready for that tournament.
Yeah, I haven't heard about today, but last night they did win. It was a squeaker as well, 54-49 over Centennial, and that's pretty good. Centennial has been a pretty good team, so Hobbs beating them on the road without Wisdom Anthony, that is saying something right there.
Hobbs boys up 14 here at Tasker after their timeout. Full court pressure, man-to-man. We're not seeing the trap that we saw in the first half. Inbounding on the right baseline of the backcourt is Hidalgo for the Trojans. He slides up the baseline, gets it in right corner to Munoz. He's going to go one-on-one against Acosta through the timeline. Far left sideline, dribbling through his legs now. One-hand bounce pass on the left elbow. Spin move, throwing up a shot from the left block. Getting fouled going up is Coyle. They call the foul on the Eagles. Stops the clock at 5:18 remaining. That's the 15th foul on Hobbs. See who they're going to call this against. A couple guys in the area that time.
It must have been away from the ball.
So puts Coyle on the line to shoot two.
No, I guess it wasn't. It was a shooting foul.
So Coyle will be up to the stripe. He is 1 for 2 on the line. He only shot about 4 free throws in this game and misses off the back of the rim.
Yeah, that was a hard miss.
I guess they called that on Mackey. That's his. No, that's not Mackey.
No, that was Hall.
So Hall's going to have his Foul, his first of the ball game. Second shot for Coyle's up and good. He's got 4 points. Now 2 of 4 from the charity stripe. 13-point Eagle lead, 46-33 with 5:10 remaining in the game. Pena will bring it across the timeline. One-hand bounce past the right elbow of the free throw line. Ball loose on the floor, picked up on the far side. As Hidalgo gets it, the 8th Eagle turnover. Takes it out to the left wing, bounce past left block, kick it back out top. 3 on the way, off the front of the iron for Munoz on the tray. Mackey gets a rebound top of the circle, his 5th. Comes down the lane and puts it back door on the pass. On the layup on the right side is Acosta. He's got 6 points. Eagles by 15, their biggest lead of the contest. Dribbling across the timeline is Davis against Mackey. Bounce pass to the right wing. Stop and go for Hidalgo down the right baseline. He goes to the rack with it as he got around Hall and lays it in for 2. So put 2 in the books for Hidalgo with 4 points. 48-35. Hobbs still up by 13. Here comes Pena now in the front court. Top of the circle. Throws a high one to the right elbow to Acosta. Pivoting now. Being very patient with the basketball. 5-second count is on. Hands off to Pena coming down the lane free throw line area. He tries to go through 2 defenders, gets knocked to the floor, and the Mayfield foul. Don't think that was a shooting foul as he got tripped before putting the ball up, I believe. They get the foul call against Coyle, his 3rd. That'll be the 15th foul. Both teams with 5 now. They're going to call that a foul on the shot, I guess, as Pena will step up to the charity stripe. He's yet to shoot a free throw yet.
Oh, that should make Coach Reeves happy. I think he was concerned about what the call was, but now he sees it was a good one.
Pena's first free throw off the back of the rim, no good. So Pena's first attempt in the ball game. Still has 11 points, trying to add on to that here in the 4th quarter. Pena came into the game at 66%.
See if we can get his second one and redeem himself.
Eagles were 3 of 5 at the half for 60%, and on the season came into the game at 61. Second shot's good, a swish for Pena. He's got 12 points. Leader right now is 15 for Braylon Vega. 49-35, Hobbs back up by 14. 4:08 left in the ball game. Coming across the timeline is Vega, or correction, that is Davis. Throws the ball over to the far left sideline, and it gets tipped out by the green and gold. That means a turnover. And it'll be Hobbs Eagle basketball. So Mayfield, maybe are they going to call a different one here? Nope, they called the timeout. 21st turnover for the Trojans. Eagle basketball, 60-second timeout for Mayfield. 4:04 remaining here in the 4th. Eagles up by 14 over the Trojans. Back in 60 seconds. Back here at Task Arena, the Hobbs Eagles lead Mayfield 49-35 by 14. A lot more distance than we had in last year's game. Eagles winning by 4 on the road, and both teams in the 80s in that game in Las Cruces. Pressure now 2-2-1, trap for Mayfield full court. Pass to Pena at the timeline, gives it back to Mackey, but a bad pass right to the hands of the green and gold, and the layup for Davis, his 4th point and the 9th Eagle turnover. 49-37, 3:48 left. Long ball down to Turbiatis in the right wing front court, gives it behind him to Pena, throws a bad one up top. It gets touched by Mayfield, luckily. Sails out of bounds in front of the Taskovich band. Eagles getting a little bit ahead of themselves here late in the 4th.
Yeah, they are a little bit, and hopefully it'll slow down as far as their head being in the game. They need to get back into it, definitely, and I think they're going to be able to with this inbound.
Referees conference on that one to make sure they did get a touch, and Coach Robert shakes his head yes, so he agrees that it is Hobbs basketball. Inbound of the backcourt to Pena. Goes hard against the defense of Hidalgo in the front court to the right wing. Double team to Turbiatis on the right elbow. Back to Pena on the give and go. Top of the circle. Over to left wing to Vega for 3, and he nails it over the top of the defense of Davis. Boy, Vega on fire in this ball game. He's got a total of 4 trays and 18 points to lead the Eagles. A 15-point lead with 3:20 remaining, 52-37. Mayfield in the front court. Left of the paint is Munoz. Gives it off behind to Davis to the left corner with a pass. As Boyle's going to throw up a three over the back of the rim, no good. And pulling it down for the Eagles is Vega, his third board.
No Trojans even in the area for that rebound.
To Pena in the timeline, he'll bring it across over to Mackey left wing, sends it down to Vega left corner. Another tray on the way. This off the back of the rim. Reaching up for it is Davis on the boards for the Trojans. His fifth rebound, 52-37. Bounces it across the timeline to Purchase on the right wing. Going to take a drive to the baseline against Mackey underneath the hoop to the left corner now. And gives it off to the left wing to Davis. Clock to 2:38 remaining. Touch pass up top to Munoz. Drives the paint, kicks it left corner to Purchase. Three on the way, in and out, no good. High rebound in the middle of the paint for the Eagles by Omar Argod, his third. Sends it ahead to a breaking Pena. Reverse layup left side, got knocked to the floor. Went through two defenders that time in the left side of the lane. And bit the hardwood face forward, but they got the foul. He'll get 2 free throws out of this one. That's Mayfield's 6th team foul, as they charge that one to Jesus Hidalgo, his first. As Pena will step up to the stripe, he is 1 of 2 for 50%.
Of course, one more foul from the Mayfield Trojans, and it'll be bonus time for the Hobbs Eagles.
Eagles 4 of 7 from the charity stripe. Mayfield 4 of 6. Not many free throw opportunities for either team in this one. Pena's first free throw is up and good. Made his last 2 and now has 13 points. He's now second in the scoring for the Eagles. The leader, 18 for Vega, and Mackey at 12.
So it sounds like we have 4 in double digits, right? 3.
53-37, Eagles' biggest lead now 16, and make it 17 as both free throws put down for Pena, who now has 14 points. 54-37, clock to 2:20 left in the ball game. Full court pressure defense, at least the 2 guards back there, as they just brought in Marquez for the Eagles. Coming across the timeline is Purchase down the right side of the lane. Reverse layup and gets bodied up as he throws the ball up. We're going to see if that's a shooting foul. They do call it on Vega. That'll be his first. Stops the clock with 2:13 remaining.
Yes, it is a shooting foul.
And that will be the Eagles' 6th team foul, and that will put on the line Isaac Purchase, who is yet to shoot a free throw. Mayfield 4 of 6 from the charity stripe, 66%. First shot is up, and it is off the back of the rim, no good. Purchase trying to get himself in the scorebook, has yet to put any points down yet. Still a 17-point Eagle lead, the biggest of the ball game here in the fourth quarter. Second shot is up for Purchase, and good, a switch. He's got 1 point. 54-38, 16-point Eagle lead as the inbound coming to Vega. 2-2-1 trap again for Mayfield. Cross court right, gets it into Pena's hands. Backdoor, wide open. Turbiatis goes high over the rim and scores. He's always sprint back on defense, too. 5 points for Turbiatis. 56-38, biggest lead now is 18 for the Eagles. Coming across the timeline with the dribble is Purchase down the mid lane, runs over his defender. They call the charge, and he runs over Turbiatis. So Turbiatis playing tough at both ends. That'll be the 22nd turnover for Mayfield and the 7th team foul on the Trojans. That'll be charging that one to Purchase, his second.
And Purchase is coming out of the field, out of the court. It will be Apodaca replacing him.
1:49 left here in the fourth. Hobbs by 18. Marcus trying to get somebody open, finally gets to Pena, gives it back to Marcus, swings it left to Pena, or make it Vega to bring it across to the free throw line. His pass rejected at the stripe and knocked away by Munoz for the Eagles' 10th turnover. Munoz will take the dribble himself, guarded by Pena, beats him across the timeline, jump stop in the paint, throws up a shot, and they're going to call the travel. He said they stutter step first before putting up the J, so that will be a travel. 23rd turnover for the green and gold.
Couldn't handle his feet or couldn't control him anyway, causing that turnover. Unfortunately, he had a great shot. It's just he shuffled his feet and was caught.
Eagle basketball on the far sideline. Inbounding will be Marquez with 1:34 remaining. Back deep to Pena. 2 men come up on him on the trap. Dribbles into him, bounce it back to Marquez right, returns to Pena, middle of the court. Gets ran into hard. Blocking foul called against the Trojans. Completely put Pena to the floor that time. And that will be the Trojans' 8th team foul, which will be a 1-on-1 bonus for the Eagles. They get that one against AC Munoz, just his first. And that will send the Eagles to the line to shoot the 1-and-1. Clock stop with 1:26 remaining. This could be a 20-point lead if he can get both of the free throws. Pena has made the last 3. It is 3 of 4 from the line with 14 points.
And he's been doing well. So he's another one of those that you want to have on the line when the game counts.
First shot is up. Off the back of the rim, though, and I believe there's a lane violation against Mayfield, so that'll be another shot opportunity for Pena, saving a missed free throw there.
Saved by the miscue.
56-38. Eagles working on their 5th win of the season. Bring them to 5-3. That will be their record at the Hobbs Holiday Tournament. Free throw for Pena, good. So he's been 4 for 4 since his first miss in the fourth quarter. Now up to 15 points. And a 19-point lead, the biggest of the game for Hobbs. Getting ready to get that to 20 here. The second opportunity for Pena. So 3 in double digits for the Eagles, and for Mayfield, just 1, 19 for Munoz. Pena's second shot is up and good. So now 16 for Abraham Pena. 20-point Eagle lead. Biggest of the ball game, 1:20 remaining. Long ball down the right baseline to Boyle, to the free throw, to Davis, kick it to the left corner, faking a tray, and driving the baseline to Doggo. 5 feet shot is no good off the side of the rim, and Marquez comes up with the rebound for the Eagles. Marquez driving through traffic in the front court, goes to Turbiatis on the reverse layup on the left side and scores. Turbiatis now with 7. Eagles by 22, the biggest margin of the game. 58 seconds remaining. Pass across the timeline to Munoz on the right wing. He's going to slow it up just a bit against the defense of Acosta. Top of the arc to Munoz. Backdoor to Coyle. Lays it in with his scoop right. Count the basket and a foul. Coyle now with 7. Pushing the back by the Eagles. That will be their 7th team foul. And that will be charged to Brian Acosta, his first. Chance for the 3-point play for Coyle. Coyle is 2 for 4 from the line for 50% and has 6 points.
You know, the 22 points that Hobbs has scored so far in this quarter matches the first half.
Rebound on the left baseline by Acosta. His second outlet far side of Marquez. Brings it across the timeline with 40 seconds. Dribbles out of traffic. Back deep to Pena to run clock. Bounce pass back to Marquez far sideline near the time stripe. Looks down to the right corner, wide open. Acosta fakes a 3, though. Coach Reeves wants him to pull it out. Bounce pass up the far right sideline is rejected and fumbled away at the time stripe. Taken away by Mayfield, and going up ahead for the layup on the right side of the glass is Munoz. 21 for him, and the 11th turnover. Hobbs Eagles student section chanting, start the bus with 15 seconds remaining. Dribbling through traffic is Marquez. Bounce pass to Pena with 10. He's just going to hold it to run the clock. Dribbles out to the timeline, pivots, goes over to 2, Vega, clock down to 3, 2, 1, and your Hobbs Eagles winning by 18 here at Tasker Arena, 60-42 over the Mayfield Trojans. Eagles are now 5-3 on the season and drop the Trojans to 1-9. That'll be a wrap here. We'll take a 3-minute break and come back with more Hobbs Eagle Hoops live on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube. Back live here at Task Arena, Hobbs Eagle postgame show on Cool 95.7, HobbsAmerica.com, and YouTube. Ty Friend, Ron Gunner, and Max back at the station for this one. Eagles winning by 18 to go to 5-3 on the season, and Mayfield drops to 1-9. And Ron, this game was pretty close early. Hobbs just up by 1 point at the end of the first, 10-9, extended the lead to 6 at halftime, so they outscored them 12-7 in the second quarter. Third quarter, Eagles 16-14, so 38-30 score, but the fourth quarter, big difference in the point production, wasn't it?
Exactly, because they scored 22 points. They did that in the first half, and you got to be happy about that because they were improving as the game went along. But it seemed like they were pretty much feeling themselves out in the first half. They were trying to figure out who was going to do what. Munoz, of course, was having his way with the offensive side on the Trojans. He was doing anything and everything he wanted to, it seemed like. But everybody else was a little not as much. In fact, you mentioned the fact that he was the only one in double figures and everybody else was not even close. And meanwhile, Hobbs, though, they've been spreading the ball around. They've been able to get those key rebounds at the right times. They've been able to get those steals, takeovers, which, by the way, they were not turning the ball over like they had been in the past, so kudos to that as well. So it seems like their game so far for the Hobbs Eagles has been getting better. It looked like Mayfield was going to come in like they did with Cleveland, but luckily for Hobbs, didn't quite match the strength they had from last night.
So Hobbs, as you mentioned, scored 22 in the fourth quarter, as much as their whole first half, 22-12, and again extended the lead to as many as 22 points in the ball game in the fourth quarter. So big W for the Eagles and winning 60-42. Looking at the numbers of the game, we mentioned A.C. Munoz, the only double-digit scorer with 21 points. He had a couple of 3 trays in the ball game. In fact, he was the only guy to hit a tray for the Mayfield Trojans, and 3 of those. So big drop-off in scoring after that. 6 points for Jose Martinez and 3 rebounds for him. Should also mention A.C. Munoz had 7 boards. And Brian Coyle finished with 6 points and 6 rebounds for the Trojans. Davian Davis had 4 points and 5 boards. Jesus Hidalgo with 4 points, 2 for 2 on the free throws. Isaac Purchase went 1 of 2 on the line for 1 point. They had a total of 6 scorers for the Mayfield Trojans. Mayfield was 5 of 8 from the charity stripe for 62%. And their big juggernaut, though, was 23 turnovers in this ball game. And, of course, the Eagles only had a total of 11, so a big difference there, a 12 difference in terms of turnovers. They did out-rebound the Eagles. They had a lot more second-chance opportunities in the first half than they did in the second. 27 boards and 24 for the Eagles. Top rebounder for Mayfield was Munoz. He finished with 7. Coyle was 6. And 5 for Davian Davis. For your Hobbs Eagles, 3 in double digits in this ball game. Braylon Vega, the freshman, finished with 18 points. He had a total of 4 trays in the contest, and that kid is definitely sending a message to Coach Reese. He wants to continue to have the green light to shoot the trays.
Absolutely is, and from the looks of it, he could be the next Jalen Gore. I mean, he's starting off at a young age. He can get those. If he can get those shots, especially with his size and his inexperience, you know what? He's going to go far with this Hobbs Eagles basketball team.
And his first name rhymes with Jalen, Braylon. So
there you go. Well, maybe it's a coincidence, maybe not.
Abraham Pena was 16, right behind him, just 2 shy of the top mark tonight. He was 5 of 6 from the free throw line, and all 5 of those free throws coming in the fourth quarter. In fact, all of his points was on the line in the fourth. Also had 3 trays to his name. So we're talking Vega and Pena combining for 7 3-point shots for the Eagles, and they were the only guys that hit them in this ball game. So pretty exciting, 7 trays for those 2, and they combined for 34 points. Michael Mackey makes up the trio of double digits. He's got 12 in this game, 2 for 2 on the charity stripe, and also was second on the team in rebounds with 5. So 3 in double digits. Hobbs got 7 from Jairus Turbiatis with 1 for 2 free throw shooting. Also had a rebound for the Eagles. Getting on the board as well, Brian Acosta finishing with 6 points and 2 boards. And anybody else scoring? Let me check here. 1 bucket for Chris Archibek. He finished with 2 and 1 rebound. Top rebounder in the game, though, didn't score, but Caden Hall coming off the bench for 7 boards. So giving a tribute to him, crashing the glass pretty well for the Eagles. Omar Argot finished up with 3 rebounds for the Eagles as well. And unfortunately, Ethan Van Landingham did get a rebound, but he was on crutches to finish the game here. Looked like it was his left ankle. Very bad news for the Hobbs Eagles. Wait to see what the prognosis is on that. Hobbs getting a total of 6 scores in this ball game. They were on the free throw line 11 times and converted 8 of those for 72%, so better free throw shooting than last night where they had 70. Hobbs with 24 rebounds. Again, Hall led the team with 7, 5 for Mackey, and 3 for Vega. Hobbs with just 11 turnovers and 23 for the Mayfield Trojans. Again, Eagles winning tonight 60-42, 5-3 on the season, dropping Mayfield to 1-9. So is that a good key up for the tournament coming up on the 28th? Of course, Hobbs will have a little bit of time off. What about 11 days or so before that game comes up? But how do you feel about that one heading into a kind of a layoff?
Yeah, other than Van Landingham, which actually would be, it's not a totally bad thing yet. If it's not beyond his realm to be able to play again, he can practice and get back into shape again like he has done in the past. But otherwise, what I like to see about this is that Hobbs had about over 7 points more than their average this season, which is always good. Yeah, we had a struggling team. Mayfield was struggling a little bit, but like I said, last night they had a really good game. It was really close against a tough Cleveland Storm team, and I think they can go. They may not have a winning season, but they're going to have a good show, especially with Munoz being as young as he is. He's still a junior. So, you're going to see a lot from the Trojans. But for the Hobbs Eagles, very happy with their performance tonight. And they showed that they can continue to move the ball, do what they need to, and get the victory.
Notice Coach Rees wasn't subbing as dramatically as we saw against Oregon Mountain. I think he had a lot more athletic team to play against last night, and a team was only one loss, and that was to Volcano Vista, who's top ranked in the state. But I think he had to kind of get some chemistry last night to see a couple guys were back from injury, Turbiatis being one of those, and a couple other guys as well. Van Landingham too last night. But today he kind of waited a little bit to put subs in there to try to see if kids can come out of their problems, and if they had some problems out there, and then try to balance that off. But again, great showing for the Eagles, up by as many as 20 and winning by 18. Let's talk about the 63rd annual Hobbs Holiday Tournament. Ron, of course, we already know the Eagles will play the night game, the latest of the brackets at 8:15. Oregon Mountain, the team that they'll be taking on. You mentioned that I think they're playing Deming before that tournament.
Exactly.
So wait and see what their record is at that point. Currently 8-1 after last night's win over the Eagles by 9. So that's the nightcap. Before that, Artesia and Cleveland go at it at 9:45 on the 28th. That'll be the first game of the boys bracket. So Artesia versus Cleveland. Of course, Cleveland just played this Mayfield team last night. Farmington takes on Spring Valley coming up on the 1:15 game. Spring Valley, I think, is out of Arizona, if I'm not mistaken.
I think it is.
Okay, so that'll be the 1:15 game. Highland Albuquerque takes on Ferris High School at 4:45 in the men's bracket and the boys bracket. And then finally the Eagles, as we mentioned, at 8:15 against Oregon Mountain. So that's the 8 teams in the tournament: Artesia, Cleveland, Farmington, Spring Valley, Highland, Ferris, and Oregon Mountain and Hobbs for the boys' side. Girls' side brackets for December 28th. This is their 5th annual girls' tournament for the Lady Eagles. Piedra Vista opens it up at 8 a.m., the early game against Ironwood. Laredo United out of Texas takes on El Paso El Dorado at 11:30. Game 3 of the girls' bracket, Highland against Oregon Mountain. Highland, of course, from Albuquerque, and Oregon Mountain from Las Cruces. And then the 6:30 game, your Hobbs Lady Eagles against Parkland, El Paso. That will be the game right before the boys boys game at 8:15. Of course, we did mention the Hobbs Lady Eagles winning last night over Centennial. What was it, a 5-point spread, I believe, Ron?
It was. 54-49 was the final score that we got. I have not heard anything yet. I know they're playing against They're playing against Oregon Mountain right now, and that should be a good game. Hobbs going in at 7-1, Oregon Mountain at 6-2, and so haven't heard anything as of yet from anybody on that one. But hopefully we'll find out soon. If not, then we'll just have to not hear about it.
So that's going to be exciting. December 28th. Make your plans for the tournament. A couple of days, about 3 days after the holiday break. By the way, though, the Lady Eagles will have a game on Tuesday night, so they'll have a little tee-up before that tournament gets underway. So definitely make your plans to be here at Tasker Arena for that matchup. I'm just double-checking to make sure we see if we have a score on the game, Oregon Mountain. Now, I guess that started at 4 o'clock, so it's no score has been put up on that one. Tuesday's game, we should mention here at Tasker Arena, will be the Hobbs Lady Eagles taking on Mayfield. That's a 7 o'clock tip-off here at Tasker Arena, so hopefully you have a chance to check that one out. Any final thoughts as we get a Christmas break coming here, Ron, and getting ready for the 63rd Hobbs annual tournament for the boys?
I'm saddened by the fact that we got hit by the injury bug once again with Van Landingham. He struggled through that collarbone injury and looked like he was going to go back and be his old self. Now he's got an ankle to nurse for a while. Other than that, I'm happy with the fact that the way the Hobbs Eagles are playing. Yes, they've had their slowdowns as far as they let the other team get back into it. But overall, they're learning how to close out games. definitely this one was a good closeout for them, and I think they're going to get a lot out of this one as they head into the holiday tournament, and hopefully they'll be able to go far on that one. I believe, if it all works out the way I think it's going to, it should be Hobbs versus Cleveland for the championship once again.
Yep, have to go through Oregon Mountain first, though. We'll see
how
that transpires. Final score again today, 60-42. Eagles defeat Mayfield to go to 5-3 on the season. Like to thank Max back at the station, Allison and Jessica Friend on scoring today, and, of course, Ron Gutter on color, myself, Ty Friend. Hope you have a great Christmas. We won't talk to you before that, but December 28th, back here at 8 o'clock at Tasker for the 63rd Annual Hobbs Holiday Tournament.
Merry Christmas, everybody.